G'day, it's Rob here again. Well, in my last video I had a bit of a disaster when I was doing some metal casting. The tin can I was using to melt the aluminium sprung a leak, and yeah, I think it's got a bit exciting there for a while. Anyway, I carried on the rest of the afternoon where I knocked up another lightweight crucible just to get me through. And I shot some more footage, so I'll show you what the footage is all about, and you can kill a bit of time just indulging in metal casting. I'm just using this stuff once again. It's old Toyota car wheel rim, alloy wheel rim, and some other good quality bits, treadmill motor, end plates, good stuff. We're going to melt that down. We're going to use sand, which is builder sand with 10% bentonite clay and enough automatic transmission fluid to give it some consistency. As you can see, it holds up quite nicely. I've used this a number of times. That's why it's a bit burnt looking, and the ATF slowly burns off. You have to add a little bit more as you go along over time, but anyway, it doesn't do too bad a job. And the plan is to cast something using this as a former. So I'm trying to cast some right angle section for a little project, a couple of ideas I've got. So I thought, okay, we'll do it with ATF, try it with ATF, see how well it works. And yeah, so as I said, I shot some footage. We can look at the footage now and you can see what happened. Oh, here's the new small crucible. It's the oil outside off of an oil filter off a tractor, and welded a bit of steel on there so I can just drop her in, and she'll do the job for now. I'm going to have to redo all this because it's all starting to, the metal inside's rotting away. So I might make one up out of an old gas bottle when I get time. But yeah, that worked okay, no dramas, no more tin cans. Alright, let's see what this hunk of old leftovers comes up like. Trim the end off. So how did it all turn out? Well, the surplus that I poured into the piece of tubing to make some round stock in 5 seconds flat, that machined up beautifully, virtually no porosity, very tiny bit if there is any. And that was just aluminium poured without any degassing agent or solder. I just melted it down, skimmed it, the crap off the top, and then just poured it. So yeah, that's pretty good. Handy stuff. If I don't want to use it like that, I can always melt it down and do something else with it. But yeah, it's the way to save money if you want to play around with aluminium, and you know, something like that in the shop machined up would be fairly dear. Right, how about the job? Well, here's the intended outcome, and it would have been good, except that, yeah, well, you know, it was one of those afternoons, one of those days while I was stuffing around with this, pouring water on it to cool it down, and you know, making steam and everything, I left the aluminium casting aflame. The ATF was merrily burning away, and I didn't snuff it out. I should have killed that flame straight away, because what's happened is, while it was burning for quite a while, it's burnt the aluminium. You can see how it's all, you know, like it's all feathered and split, and it's basically disintegrated the top part of the sand. As the ATF burned off, the sand has started to collapse. Everything stayed too hot for too long, so I basically buggered it right up. But as you can see, if I hadn't done that, I'm pretty sure it would have been a pretty good casting, right, you know, right up to the top here, and it would have been pretty much like the bottom. The finish, well, no, it's not as good as I expected. I mean, it's not as good as I want. It's as good as I expected, really, because I knew that with sand I was going to get a dimpled effect, and I really want to get a smooth finish. But I was just curious to see how this went. And as a fun time in the backyard, playing around with hot metal, yeah, no, it was, you know, not too bad. So, not good enough in my opinion for what I want. So next step is move on, and I'm going to make up a mould out of steel. I have to have a bit of think about this, whether I make it in two pieces so that I can disassemble it or reassemble it, surround it with sand, do the pour, disassemble it, get the aluminium out when it shrinks, or whether I can actually, in this case, just make one permanent, and like the tubing we saw this just slide out, where if I make it accurate enough, where as the aluminium is going to shrink inwards all the way around, it might just slide out of an L-shaped mould without contracting. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'll think about this, but that's the plan. That's the next video. Yeah, that's where I'm headed. So anyway, that's it for now. I hope you found that interesting. It was an interesting afternoon for me. And yeah, you know, get into it. It's not hard to do. I mean, fun times. Okay, well that's it from me. See you next time. Cheers.